Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Super Switch Headz, the premier Nintendo podcast in all of the internet. My name is David.
My name is Matthew.
My name is Patrick.
Oh, and we're joined by a very special guest this evening. We got Sasha Knight in the studio.
Hello.
Hello, welcome, Sasha.
I'm the girlfriend.
Oh, no, I wasn't going to say it.
I had to, yes. Yeah, because friends have mentioned I've come up on the podcast. Also, I've heard myself because I am the biggest fan of the podcast.
I think that's true. We did a poll of all our fans, and you ranked among the highest, if not the highest.
Yeah,
so,
without owning a Switch. So,
yeah,
right. everyone. Yeah.
Very good, very good. Well, that'll be leading into some of our topic for today. I do want to say this is episode 33. Is that correct? I believe so. 33.
Yeah, this episode 33, just 33. Like our man Jesus.
just like our main man Jesus.
Hopefully we don't go out at 33 like Jesus did.
Well, but time will surely tell, won't it, Patrick?
We'll get a book deal.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get a book deal. That's what Jesus is known for, as his book tours. Folks, thank you so much for joining us on episode 33. We're going to be talking about all sorts of different stuff today, but our main topic is advice for new Switch owners. We're going to be talking a lot about kind of the things you want to get when you get a new Switch, kind of a buyer's guide, what accessories you want to get, whether or not you should pick up the Switch Lite or the Switch V2 or the OG Switch. We're going to be walking you through all of that stuff. We've also got some news that we're going to be talking about today, some interesting stuff, some Dragon Quest follow-ups, some GameStop news, and much, much more. How's everybody doing today?
I'm doing good. You know, I wanted to tell y'all I shipped off my left Joy-Con to Nintendo today.
Oh.
Wow.
For freezies.
Wow. Hell yeah. How did the whole process?
Weird word to say.
So you called them, I imagine.
I did an online ticket.
Oh, okay.
I don't like to talk on the phone.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Just on the podcast.
I also do not like talking on the phone. I will go out of my way to not talk on the phone.
Really? I love talking on the phone.
That doesn't surprise me.
David calls me all the time. Yeah.
Well, I would say I like talking on the phone, but not for transactional
that's true.
relationships.
Okay.
I would love to talk to like my
Chat
good friends
window.
on the phone, but not, like call a business.
Yeah, I hate that.
See, I have had good experience talking with Nintendo customer support on the phone.
Oh, okay.
They're very sweet. And in fact, one time I called them for a repair that I needed on my Pro Controller, and I think it was only because I was so charming on the phone that he gave me a 25% discount.
Certainly.
So it's completely free. Did they send you like a box for you to ship it
No,
in?
you have to ship it in your own box.
Okay, so it's not quite free then.
Yeah, because the boxes aren't just laying around everywhere in this day and age of Amazon.
Well, I wish you luck.
Thank you.
I hope that your Joy-Con comes back drift-free.
I will report back in a couple of weeks.
Very good. I've got my left Joy-Con here with me. I'll bring up why I have it with me later in the episode, but I got to send that son of a bitch in as well. How about you, Matt? How was your week? You having a good week?
I am having a good week, yeah.
That's very good.
I've been playing we are going to talk about this later, but I've been playing Astral Chain, and I wish I had more time to play it.
Yeah.
So while I'm at work, I'm just like, I wish I had more time to play it.
You don't play Astral Chain at work?
I don't know.
Oh, man. Oh, that's a bummer. What about you, Sasha? How's your week?
Yeah, I went home early from work today because I was sick. No, I mean, allergies are bad in Austin. Everyone knows.
Yes.
And then I took a nap and I had this dream that I had to perform in front of a bunch of strangers, which maybe it was like leading up to doing this podcast. That's why. And my solution was going to be dancing with the pizza box. Anyways, I'm not going to do that here.
Welcome to Super Dream Heads.
Yeah. Okay. So that's my dream I had today.
Oh, yeah.
And then I went to a volunteer sesh for Fantastic Fest in Austin.
That's right. That's coming up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's coming up starting this week. So looking forward to that.
Awesome. Very good. Well, let's go ahead and jump right into the news.
Well,
or we have a shout out.
Yeah,
Yes?
I wanted to give a couple quick shout outs. AVK made some comments on our YouTube, so thanks for all that. But among other things, AVK said that the follow up on something we talked about. He called out that in Astral Chain, Matt, when you clean your Legion, it apparently helps the Legion attack more frequently and have a higher base movement speed.
Of course.
Wow. It's just like when you clean yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fight for my friends way stronger when I am bathed.
I shower so I have higher base movement speed.
And then I also wanted to shout out Austin Young, who after hearing the episode told me I really need to play Undertale. And also that he was very excited if Dragon Quest 1 through 3 comes to the West. Well, leading into our news, good news for Austin and anybody else who wants to play that. They did announce that Dragon Quest 1 through 3, following up on what we talked about the other week, is going to come out in North America and Europe on the Switch.
Right.
Possibly bad news. They look like people are saying they look like they're going to be ports of the mobile games. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if that's really that big of a deal.
They didn't screw up the mobile ports for Dragon Quest quite like they did with like the Final Fantasy VI port and like some of the like the Chrono Trigger port. Like from what I understand, these Dragon Quest ports are like not that bad as far as a conversion goes. But yeah, that's cool. That's exciting to have them.
Also following up that weird Ring Pilates Magic Circle Ring video teaser, they released the real video, and it's called Ring Fit Adventure.
Yes.
And the guy in that video was crazy awesome.
Okay, so let's talk about Ring Fit Adventure for 25 minutes.
Well, let's talk about the actors in that video for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
'Cause I feel like I could do that.
Yeah, I definitely got some like Dexter vibes from that guy.
I feel like
You guys are feeling the same.
Maybe it's not his fault. It might be whoever directed that. I could just see them being like, more energy, don't blink. Don't blink.
Yeah, he had these like red eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the lady, she just seems like a host body for an alien. I don't think she's not human. He's human, but is very scary. Yeah.
They both were scary in weird ways.
Yeah,
Their excitement and energy for this game was just over the top.
Let's talk about a new product called Ring Fit Adventure.
For the Nintendo Switch.
For the Nintendo Switch. Yeah, that was definitely like somebody from Nintendo Japan was like directing them and just didn't really get a grasp on the language. It was odd. That having been said, though, I think Ring Fit Adventure looks pretty fucking awesome.
I do too.
Yeah. Because we definitely knew it was going to be something exercise and, you know, quality of life, like kind of their quality of life department that we thought was dead, right? They said a few years ago, they're like, we're not doing any more kind of like health stuff, but clearly the success of the Switch has turned that around. But we knew it was going to be something like that. I didn't know it was going to be an RPG.
Yeah, so that was a big sort of surprise, right? That it's actually called Adventure, and there's like a story, I guess, and you fight people.
There's a bodybuilding dragon named Drago.
That's right.
Yeah, they did say bodybuilding dragon.
Wow.
Just say dragon.
Well, did you see him?
He's pretty ripped.
He's swole, dude. He's a big purple swole guy.
And also somewhat surprising, this comes out real soon, October 18th. Maybe that's not surprising because they want to get it out before the holidays, but
sure.
That's real soon. And it's $80. You get, and also it comes with the game, the ring, and the leg strap.
For the podcast listeners right now, Patrick has serial killer eyes. It's a little scary. $80 is kind of expensive, I guess. But I mean, hopefully they'll be using this peripheral for other games.
I don't know.
In the future.
Yeah, maybe.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I don't know what for.
Yeah.
A driving game?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Giant wheel?
I know somebody from Nintendo said that if you played this game for a half hour every day, like to work out for like a half hour every day,
you'd be as big as the dragon.
No. Well, probably. I mean, that much goes without saying. But they were saying that if you play this game for like a half hour a day, it'll take you like 3 months to beat this game.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it seems like there's a bit of value in it, and it's definitely got like some breadth to the story and stuff like this.
It's also got just regular exercise modes too.
Right. So it seems like they're kind of trying to bridge that gap between the kind of, you know, neckbeard hardcore game audience that never goes to the gym and then the people that were like using Wii Fit on the regular. You know what I mean? Not to just call Nintendo fans
lump us
neckbeards.
into a cat. Which one are you, David?
Yeah, I mean, we've all got hair on our faces and necks. Yeah. I think this looks pretty good though. I think it seems like a really good idea to get people exercising. I mean, this would definitely get me exercising more.
I know. I'm kind of thinking
Yeah.
about it for that reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we stream this game?
We should definitely stream this game.
This
Yes.
might actually be a really funny game to stream.
I think
That's
a
good
lot of people
call.
are going to stream this game.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
We should have done a reaction video for this.
I know. Well, after watching it, I
oh.
was like, yeah, we
I
definitely
said
need to.
the same. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. For the creepy vid.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I-
we'll have to
terrified.
wait for Ring Fit Adventure 2.
Maybe let's after this, let's watch the Japanese trailer and then we'll react to that one.
Oh, is it
How's that?
different? Is it different actors?
I'd
suppose?
imagine they'd have
Oh,
Japanese.
I
actors.
didn't even think about
Which
that.
might also
I'm gonna
mean
look it up right
they
now.
have other localized versions.
Oh, man. Should we move on while you're looking that up?
Yeah, I guess so. What are your thoughts on Ring Fit?
This looks really fun. I just imagine like myself when I got an NES and my parents bought me the Power Pad, not knowing what the Power Pad was and playing track and field, like how much fun I had with my brothers on Christmas Day. Then promptly never played it again a couple of weeks after that. But those I have like really strong memories of really enjoying and playing track and field.
Right.
So maybe kids that are out there who get Ring Fit Adventure for Christmas or for whatever holidays you might celebrate.
Yeah, we're open.
Yeah, well, yeah, we are, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it could be fun.
I think it looks like more fun than going to the gym. I mean, this probably isn't a good replacement for going to the gym. You know what I mean? But like, maybe it'll get people who wouldn't have gone because of, social anxiety or whatever, be a little bit more confident in their bodies to like get out and actually start exercising.
The
you know?
gamification could help with that, too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it looked, something that I thought was cool about it was that it looks like the IR sensor on the right Joy-Con that goes into the Ring Con, as they're calling it, also measures your heart rate, which I didn't know was possible.
No, I thought it was the one on your leg.
No. It's the one in the ring.
Oh, okay, because your
stick
hand is on it or something?
Yeah,
Like
your
it
hands are on it, and then you
it
just
looks
stick
into
your-
your blood or something, right? That's how they do it, is it sees your blood moving?
That's fucking creepy. If
Very
You think that's what it is?
Hanneman. No.
I think so.
Oh my goodness gracious. Well, let's all submit our blood to Nintendo. I mean, we've been doing it for months anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Speaking of blood, GameStop closing lots of stores.
yeah, there's blood in the water for GameStop.
That's one hell of a translation.
So they have I think this is not like an official announcement, but there's like information out there that they're planning to shut down a bunch of stores, up to 200 by the year's end, which is a lot. And also like that they have 200 stores they can close, man.
Oh yeah.
There's too many GameStops. Also, sort of relatedly, like there's they've talked about rebranding themselves. We've talked about this in the past, but somebody at a store in Oklahoma, like one of the managers or something, filmed themselves walking around one of the new layouts, which looks all right. Did anybody here watch that?
Yeah, I saw some of the video. It definitely seems like they're trying to go more of like the board game, card game store route, where it's like you have an area in the back where there are CRT TVs for the old school games, and then there's tables for like Magic the Gathering or Pokemon tournaments or something like that, So it looks like they're trying to be more of a
Hang out here.
yeah, which surely has got to not be exciting for GameStop employees.
But I think it's the right move, right? Like and if you're going to try to have a retail experience, there's got to be a reason to go in,
Yeah.
as opposed to just buying your game digitally.
You
or
got to have a
whatever.
place to drop off the kids while you go shopping at Ulta. You know what I mean?
When was the last time that y'all visited a GameStop personally?
That's a good question.
There's one not too far from my house. I've been in a couple times in the last
Okay.
year or
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
I think
okay.
I went.
And why? Yeah.
I assume to buy
No,
games.
I am totally like a
Yeah.
brick and mortar
Well-
shopper. I was the one who took us to Best Buy. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
true.
Right.
That's
It was
true.
my
We talked
fault.
about that.
Yeah.
We love Best Buy.
Yeah. Everyone shop at Best Buy.
I went in there because I sold my Xbox One to get more Switch games.
Oh yeah.
Smart.
Wow.
Like a year and a half ago or whatever that was. And then I don't know why, I've been in there a few times since then.
I went in there to buy an Amiibo and Tetris Effect for PSVR.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think the last time I went to one was when I was like home, like at my parents' house, and I went there purely for nostalgic reasons. I was like, I think I was taking my mom or something to a grocery store, and then while she was in there, I went in there just to kind of look around. But I mean, we'll get into this a little bit later in the podcast, but it's like I really only buy digital games, so there's not
Right.
much of a reason for me to go to GameStop unless I'm trading something in. Like I've traded in some Wii U games so I could get credit to then buy a card to get the Switch versions of those games. But that's pretty much the last time I've been there. I think it makes sense that GameStop is falling on hard times, though. I mean, it's, not that many people buy digital games anymore, and even with Xbox, like doing Game Pass and stuff like that, like I feel like, most people bought the new Gears of War like through Game Pass, rather than actually getting it physically. So Godspeed. Hopefully it turns around, but I mean, GameStop.
Where's that funny?
I used to work.
Doesn't seem like it.
I used to work at GameStop. So I
that's right.
I
You
kind of
worked at
don't.
Radio Shack.
Yeah. I also worked at Radio Shack. Yeah. Thank you.
How do you feel about that?
Check out my LinkedIn for more juicy details on my work history.
You had
Failed
ice cream
retail.
scooper on your LinkedIn.
I don't know. I'm not like terribly sad to see it go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of sad to see go, Tokyo Game Show news.
Yeah, so Tokyo Game Show happened, and for us Nintendo fans, some of the big information that came out of this, or information is maybe the wrong word, but Smash Ultimate won a bunch of awards. They won Game of the Year, Best Sales Award, and Award for Excellence.
What does Best Sales Award mean?
I guess whoever sold the most copies. It seems pretty like there's the voting on that one doesn't matter. Like, they just run the numbers. But Sakurai was there to accept the awards, and either in his acceptance speech or afterwards, he made some interesting comments, in particular about Smash Ultimate and about the late Nintendo president Iwata. Did any of y'all see this? This was really a nice moment.
Yeah, this was really good. Like Sakurai was saying, this is one of Iwata's last request. Like Smash Ultimate.
Yeah, it was like his last like mission was to basically like, hey, make sure you make like the most kick-ass Smash game of all time.
I'm guessing try to get all the characters in or something related to that, or really please the fans or something.
I mean, Sakurai and Iwata were like BFFs, right? They were best friends, and Iwata like clearly meant a lot to the Smash series. I mean, basically he came in and saved Super Smash Bros. Melee when they were like, hey, we need to get this out really quick for the GameCube. Basically, Iwata was the reason that game was able to get out on time. Like, he personally helped program a lot of that game. And, and they were really good friends. And it just kind of goes to show, like, even now, like, years after Iwata's passed on, like, everyone, you can still feel his energy all over the company. You know what I mean? And it goes to show why Sakurai has put like literally everything into this game, and why he says like, there's never going to be another Smash game like this, so I might as well keep this one going for as long as I possibly can. It's just really nice, between this and like the homages in Breath of the Wild to Iwata, and like kind of that golf, Easter egg that was kind of hidden in the Switches, kind of as a tribute to him. It's nice to see all this kind of reverence for Iwata, especially since he was just such a great, leader for the company. It's really nice to see.
He also spoke about people who request Iron Man and Goku being in Smash.
Why do you say Goku like that?
Is that like a Goku?
A Goku.
A Goku. And basically dash anybody's hopes once more. I think he's even said this in the past, but I guess he reiterated that if your origin's not video games, you're not getting into Smash, basically. So I know a lot of people really want. I don't know about Iron Man. I've never heard that.
I've never heard that either. But I've heard Goku.
I've definitely heard Shrek.
Yeah,
I think this probably also dashes our hopes of Shrek.
Definitely.
We could just, if you take the armor off of King K. Rool, he kind of looks like Shrek. So there's your Shrek.
Talking about Smash Ultimate, we talked about this some in the past too. There had been some additional modes that were data mined. A little bit more information kind of come out about one of those. It's code named in the convention mode, I think, in the code. And despite the fact that during the Banjo reveal, Sakurai said that Home Run Contest was pretty much the last new mode. That's a really weird way to say that, like pretty much. So we'll see whether this is a abandoned mode or not, but everybody's kind of speculating that it's an online mode for various reasons. I think related to where it is in the code and related to the screen that we have for the online section. And that maybe with Terry's release in November, it'll be like a sort of 3v3 or squad strike or Smashdown online mode.
I'm here for it.
I am too. I would really, really like that to be true.
I want to see more Squad Strike stuff.
I really like Squad Strike. I also
too.
just the phrasing. I meant to look this up. Like what he said in Japanese, like pretty much the last new mode. When I listened to that, I was like, well, then it's not right. Like, like then you're like tempering us that there's maybe one more or something.
I mean, if they're going to keep coming out with DLC characters for God knows how long, you think they'd probably add in some new modes.
Yeah,
So.
and online would be great because that's mostly how I play.
Convention mode, though, to me screams like tournaments.
Yeah, I
You know
think
what I mean?
that's
Like live
that,
in-person events.
That's just what it says. They have weird words in the
Sure.
code. It's like they have melee in the code too, but apparently that's what they use for multiplayer, like online or something
okay.
like that. So like I don't know. Yeah. And then in terms of playing games online, Nintendo is now, this has caused a lot of people frustration, where if you bought an individual membership without realizing that you also wanted your child or spouse or whatever to also be able to get online, then you had to go buy a family membership or a second individual membership. Now they're allowing you to convert those starting in October.
Oh, that's nice.
You get some credit off of however much I guess you have left or whatever. So that's been something people have been asking for. That's cool. Daemon X Machina came out since our last episode, and it's got a Metacritic score of 71.
Have any of you guys played Daemon X Machina?
No.
Yeah, me either.
No.
Don't have much to say about it. It sounds like it's, good for the people that wanted that game.
Yeah, I hear it's like a bullet spongy, monster huntery sort of mech game.
Yeah.
So, not really my bag.
Yeah. We got some release dates for some games that I think some people here are excited about. Sayonara Wild Hearts. David, are you interested in that one?
Oh yeah, that's coming out Thursday. I'm really pumped about that game.
Who's the developer of that?
I'm not sure who the developer is. I know it's being put out by Annapurna, and it's also coming to Apple Arcade.
Yeah,
which is interesting.
I saw that.
But yeah, it just is they showed it off at an indie event like a while ago,
and they just showed off something more of it at the Apple some sort of Apple Arcade.
Yeah. I just love the kind of art style of it, and yeah, it looks
Is it
really
rhythm
fun.
kind of game too, or
I
no?
don't think so.
Oh, no?
I think it's kind of like an on rails sort of almost
Motorcycle
shooter
thing.
style thing.
Sayonara Wild Hearts is a dreamy arcade game about riding motorcycles, skateboarding, dance battling, shooting lasers, wielding swords, and breaking hearts at 200 miles per hour.
So the other game that I think somebody in here has had their eye on, got a release date, is Killer Queen Black. You excited about that one?
I'm stoked about Killer
yeah.
Queen Black.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in this too. Coming out October 11th. They finally gave us a date for that. It's like a online multiplayer game. I remember reading about the Queen Black, right? Isn't that or Killer? What's the arcade one called?
I think it's just Killer Queen.
Killer Queen. Yeah,
Right.
I was like, one word is it added, which I found fascinating reading about that several years ago. That arcade scene around that game.
Yeah, and there's one big change that I've read. David, you're shaking your head like you're going to say this too. Is that arcade version is 5 versus 5, and then the console version is 4 versus 4.
Yeah,
Right.
so it's a different game, and that's why they changed the name, right? It's like a different dynamic, I guess, in terms of your team and stuff.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how it plays on the Switch. It's interesting that it's taken this long to come out. It's kind of like a not huge indie game. And it's, I feel like they announced this like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think some of that is the retooling it to be 4-player, maybe.
Yeah. Either way, I've had so much fun playing this in arcades, and I can't wait to play it on the Switch.
Another game that David and Matt are excited about is Jedi Outcast.
Jedi Outcast featuring Kyle Katarn.
Kyle Katarn, baby. Jedi in training.
We knew that this game was coming out on September 24th already, but we did not know how much it was going to cost. Are you happy to see the price, David?
Yes, it is coming out for $10, and that's it. This is a game that I thought this is a game from like 2003 or whatever, but it's like, I definitely fully expected them to go the Capcom route and make this $30 or $40, and they absolutely could have, and they're not. They're doing it for $10, and I think way more people are going to buy it because of that, and I hope that other developers that are releasing old ports of games take note, because this is how much these games should be, is $10. They're
This
old
does
as hell.
seem weird. Like it's
Right?
This is the first console version of this game.
I No, I mean, well, maybe because I think Jedi Academy came out for the GameCube, but I don't think
I think it was
Outcast
also on
did.
Xbox.
Yeah, I was gonna say 360, maybe.
Yeah, or like maybe even the OG Xbox.
Xbox.
I think.
Yeah.
But either way, it's like we're seeing Devil May Cry and Devil May Cry and Devil May Cry 2 coming out for way more expensive. You know what I mean? And this is just as big a game, if not more beloved than those games. You know what I mean? Especially here in the West. So it's like, I think it's great. It's a really good precedent, and I hope they keep this kind of pricing going forward for these sorts of games.
$10. Well, you have been able to win $10 in gold points on Tetris 99 Maximus Cups in the past, and they have another one coming up soon. But this time, instead of that, you win gems for the Super Kirby Clash game.
Yeah, that's an equivalent value.
Yeah, probably maybe it's $10 worth of gems.
Yeah,
but
that was a joke.
I don't know if they have if there's a lot of crossover between those audiences, but are you going to go for your Kirby gems, David?
Well, I'm not doing it for the gems. I'm doing it for the theme,
for
baby.
The skin.
Oh yeah, I eat up fucking Tetris 99 like it's goddamn pancakes. I love it, dude.
How do you eat up pancakes?
Or Hot Pockets. Yeah. That's a joke that the listeners will not understand.
Yes.
I ate 2 Hot Pockets before this. Okay, anyway. Yeah, I've been playing the shit out of Tetris 99 just to unlock the skins that are in this new update. So like anytime there's a Maximus Cup, I always unlock the stuff. And I've seen some footage of the Kirby skin. The Japanese Twitter for Nintendo posted some video of the Kirby skin, and boy, is it just cute as hell. I'm really excited. It's colorful. It's fun. It's got Kirby music. Dude, hell yeah, I'm going to fucking play this.
All right.
Was that the question?
You can't see David's face is beaming with joy right now.
It's the opposite of serial killer face.
But if you want to compete in a Nintendo game for actual gold points, the Mario Kart is getting an online tournament for gold points. On September 22nd, there's going to be a tournament that seems like it lasts like all day. It's like 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. or something like that. And the top 8 players on the leaderboard will get $25 in gold points. So that's probably a very small percentage of the people that will actually play. And so for $25, but that's cool. This game hasn't had anything like that on the Switch. I'm glad to see them doing some support for the game. I know some people, everybody on Twitter, everybody just gets angry about any announcement. But when I saw this announcement, people were like, well, give us DLC instead. But I think it's cool that they're having online tournaments for Mario Kart.
Yeah, it's great. It's one of the best games ever, honestly.
Yeah. It's great that they're supporting an evergreen title like Mario Kart.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that this will only lead to more stuff for the game. You know what I mean? It's like the more that they show interest in the game, the greater likelihood that we will get DLC. So don't complain.
Yeah. This feels more like a network test to see what's capable from Nintendo Switch Online players.
You know who should enter in this game is my brother.
Is he really top 8 in the world?
I think he could be.
Yeah.
I think at least in the US. Is it worldwide?
I don't know. The rules are for America. Maybe it's probably like the Maximus Cups where like top 8 in each region. Because I looked at the rules. I enter a lot of contests, so my gut instinct is I want to see the rules.
Yeah.
And,
good.
And scan
good on
them.
you.
And like it's probably North America for the top 8, $25.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool. I hope your brother wins $25.
I really hope my brother wins $25.
The thing is, you'd have to like sit there all day and just play it to actually have any chance to being in the top 8 in the leaderboard. So it's going to be the people that are the best that have the most patience and that day off of work or whatever.
Is it on a weekend?
I think it is. What's September 22nd? Tell me what that day is.
Sunday.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that. I'll play that all day.
My mom's going to be in town, so we could do that. I don't have plans yet, so.
Hand her a Joy-Con and let's rev up, baby.
We're going to David's apartment, Mom. Yeah.
She should get a Switch Lite.
Well, I think that winds up our news, so we take a quick break now that we do that, right?
Oh, yeah, we take breaks now.
We're here with Sasha in particular to talk about new Switch owner advice, sort of our favorite accessories for a Switch, what you should do, what kind of things you should buy or consider when you first get into having a Switch, and why we wanted to have you on is you don't have one.
Right. And I still don't know if I'd prefer the Lite or the OG, or now there's a version 2, which I'm not even sure what what comes with that. So that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
Very good.
This is a really good time for us to talk about this because the Switch Lite is coming out very soon.
This Friday.
Yes. The version 2 Switch just came out. The other consoles are kind of in a lull. We're waiting for information about when they'll launch. So a lot of people are buying Switches, and we thought we'd give our thoughts on that.
Yeah, hopefully by the end of this podcast, Sasha, you will leave knowing which Switch to get.
Yeah. I will have decided. I know I watched like the unboxing vid today, and at first I thought, oh yeah, I'm not getting the Lite. But then I'm not sure. I mean, I like that it's more portable, smaller. We can discuss more. But
let's discuss more. I think that'll be our first topic.
Mansplain away. Sorry, had to.
Well, the caveat here is the Switch Lite isn't even out yet, but we know what we know about it from what has been stated, and I think the big differences are the price and the ability to dock, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's other differences, right? You cannot dock the Switch Lite. So if you don't own a Switch, you might not realize how much you want to play docked or handheld. I feel like that's something a lot of people that I've talked to when they get a Switch discover, myself included. I found myself really enjoying playing handheld, even though the dock's right over there. I still sit on the couch and play in handheld.
Yeah, I would say probably like 70 to 80% of the time, I honestly do play handheld, just because I love putting something on the TV and playing while I'm watching something else.
And you can have your own little more, like if you have a roommate or a spouse or something, they can watch TV and you can be near them and maybe have it a separate screen, but it's still like you're in the same room at least, as opposed to like, I'm going into my gaming cavern or whatever,
My man cave.
Yeah, exactly.
Or she shed.
She shed.
Is that a real thing?
It is.
I've never heard of that.
My wife wants a she shed.
She shed seashells by the seashore.
I also play it more portable.
You do?
It was a recent realization because I got home from work and I took it out of the dock and I just laid on the couch and played for an hour.
Yeah, laying down and playing is huge. Right. Like I that's something that I found that I do all the play before I go to bed, or just when you get off work, I've been sitting and staring at a screen all day.
I want to stare at a smaller screen.
Yeah, exactly.
And I want to lay down.
I gotta let my eyes adjust, to a smaller screen. No, but it's but it is not, I don't want to sit up and do that kind of stuff anymore. Yeah, I sound like a fat slob.
Too hot
Pathetic. Hot pocket eating motherfucker. But
get ring fitted, picture.
I need to. For the betterment of society.
What you guys don't know is upon coming to my house to record this podcast episode, David was like, just to let you know, I ate 2 Hot Pockets.
Yeah, I'd never done that before. I know I've only ever had one at a time. This, I was telling Matt I had a good 7 minutes in between them where I weighed the pros and cons of having another one. We could talk about this after the podcast.
No, I'm talking about it now.
I do not feel good. Anyway.
So, back to the Switch Lite versus the regular Switch.
Sure.
I think also we kind of need to wait and see what happens with the Switch Lite's joysticks, because that's been an issue. The Joy-Con drift. I think, having to send in a Joy-Con is one thing, but having to send in your whole unit would be another thing.
Right.
I didn't think about that. That's a good point.
And also the sort of a separate but related issue is if you do want to get a Switch that's just a regular, do you want to, try to find a used OG one, or do you want to go for this Switch version 2? You might be able to find somebody selling the old one for cheaper.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
There's some risks of buying used electronics, of course, and those are pretty standard.
I would definitely say that right now it's probably not worth buying a used Switch at this point, because really the difference in the Switch V2, well, basically, Sasha, to answer your question earlier about kind of what comes with the Switch V2, it's pretty much exactly the same as the Switch V1. The only difference is
drift.
Well, no,
I mean,
maybe. I mean, we actually don't know if the Joy-Cons that come with the Switch V2 have drift yet. They haven't really been out long enough. But the main thing is that it has almost double the battery life, the Switch V2, right?
Okay.
So it's if you're getting an OG Switch, you're going to potentially run into any issues that you get when you buying used hardware in general. And then also you're just going to be having a Switch that, has half the battery life of ones that you could get new.
And the Switch Lite has a better battery life too.
Right. Although not as good as the Switch V2,
right.
Which is interesting. I mean, I would say at this point, if you're going to get one, look for that red box. Get the V2 if you want to go for the OG.
I guess my main thing is I love casting everything to my TV. Even if a friend wants to watch a video on their phone, I'm like, Chromecast it now.
Right.
And then they ask me what that is, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? So that's my main thing. I love casting everything to my television. And then I imagine if I have friends over, it does become a social activity.
Right.
If I do have more controllers. That would be what is missing is if I had, the ladies over or whoever.
Right.
And
Play some Ring Fit Adventure with the ladies.
No, that's oh gosh, yeah, no. So that's my main thing is I love to cast everything to my television, and that is what I am so uncertain about. But I do like, playing your Switch. Fire Emblem laying down. I do like laying down. It is quite bulky, actually. I mean, it was totally fine, like, playing on the screen and whatnot, but it is quite bulky. And so I would appreciate, the smaller design for sure. And yeah, taking it with me places.
Yeah, that's a tough one. If you you really don't want to play much on the TV and you want to play more handheld.
But it's really at all on the TV, right? Because that's the thing. It's like you might think now, it's like, oh, I'm probably going to play this mostly handheld. But when you just don't have that option anymore, like I was honestly, when they announced it, I was pretty surprised that they totally took away that option.
Really, I think it's weird.
Yeah, and it makes sense. You know what I mean? You got to do something to cut costs,
right?
But it's like, it makes it really hard for me to really recommend it
as a primary console. Yeah.
Like I want to Switch Lite just because they're cute and it looks like it feels good to hold in your hands, and it's like you said, it's not as bulky. It's a little more portable.
And because you already have one, you can put it in a TV.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, but I don't think that I would get a Switch Lite if I hadn't had a Switch already. But that's just because of my sort of gaming preferences. You know what I mean? And yeah, especially like if you're going to be playing with somebody else, kind of like how we play Fire Emblem. It's like, you wouldn't want to just like look over someone's shoulder to play that game.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, you can buy a third party kickstand or whatever for the Switch Lite because it doesn't have a kickstand on it.
Oh, true.
But then it's an even smaller screen that you're putting on a table looking all scrunched around this little screen. It just doesn't seem
and you'd
like
have to
the right
buy
way to go.
Controllers.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It definitely seems like a good option for households that already have an OG Switch in their house. You know what I mean? And especially when you take into account, like game sharing and like family plans and stuff like that, which is something that we'll get to in just a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, I think so.
But that's definitely something where it's like, if you have multiple people signed into both units, then it's like, there could be like a Switch for the living room that goes on the TV, and then a Switch that, is the secondary Switch. You know what I mean? It just kind of depends on how you're going to be using it.
So I think I feel like we can go around in circles on that one. But I think we've covered the main points of it. So maybe we move on to other accessories.
I was going to say,
you got one more thought?
Yeah, I would buy a Switch Lite because it got the pretty turquoise.
Yeah,
the
yellow
colors.
is nice too.
Yeah, those colors. It's kind of like a flat. It's like a matte color.
Yeah.
It's not glossy.
I'm partial to the Zessie and Zamazenta edition.
You just wanted to say that.
Yeah.
Is that Pokemon?
Yeah, sure.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Also, I feel like I'm going to have to hold one in my hands before I really make a decision on whether or not I'm going to get one.
Do you think there's a brick and mortar store out there that you can go to?
Ooh.
I don't know. Yeah, I'd have to think about that.
I'll let you guys think about that.
Maybe like a Funko Land or something.
Yeah. I think color. If that really matters to you, then that's why you might get a Switch Lite. And if you don't own a TV, you don't have
Totally.
I know many people who don't own TVs. They just watch all their television on computer screens or
their
monitors
phones.
or their phones. That might be another reason, but
It's also $100 cheaper.
Yeah.
So if budget is an issue for you.
Always.
save that money.
But moving on, accessories for the Switch. I think regardless of whether you get whichever one, though some of these are more important if you get a regular Switch you can dock. Some accessories to consider / definitely get. One of the big things that's always recommended is a screen protector. How do y'all feel about that? Do you think that's a definite, like you have to have a screen protector on your Switch?
I say so, yeah. I think you need a screen protector on anything with this.
Everybody says that, but I've never. Do you know anybody that's got
I don't have a
screen or anything?
I've never owned a screen protector on any of my.
I have a screen protector on my Switch right now with tons of scratches on it.
Yeah.
So it's like,
is it on the the protector though, or are they on the?
No, it's on the protector. Yeah. Well, it's like I'm saying my screen would be scratched.
Gotcha,
you know what I mean?
Gotcha.
And it's like, honestly, just get one. They're like
they are. Like
it's like
$8
$6 for a pair. You can get tempered glass, so it still feels like glass.
Definitely get the tempered glass.
Yeah. I think that's like the first thing you need to get when you get it. I mean, no offense, Matt.
I take care of my electronics, David.
I guess. Yeah.
I've got like an extra one, Matt. If you want,
I do too.
Do I look like a charity case?
Take it.
Yeah, I mean, I think you gotta get a screen protector. That's the most boring of all these accessories, I will say, though.
All right, well, we got that one out of the way. You know what? Another boring one though is the case. If you're gonna take your Switch on the go, and why wouldn't you? Because it's a Switch. You should probably get a nice hard shell case.
As you knock on your case.
I knocked on my case, everybody. Here, I'm gonna do it into the microphone.
Yeah.
Oh, man,
look at that! So solid.
That is production value right there.
I think I spent more time shopping for a case for my Switch than I spent time shopping for Joy-Con colors.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of different kinds of cute case designs.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
I read reviews about cases.
Yeah, same. I read reviews about screen protectors.
Yeah, did you really?
Yeah.
Well,
I want to get some dingy ass screen
Where
protector.
do y'all order them from? Just Amazon or?
Yeah, mostly like Daddy Bezos, or
That's Super Daddy Bezos.
Super Daddy Bezos heads. I mean, there's lots of different places though. Like Emily, who's been on this podcast a couple times, she has this really cute case that's shaped like Mario. Like it's like Mario's overalls, and then his like mustache flaps down. And she got that on Etsy, right? And
Etsy would be perfect.
yeah. And there are tons of Switch accessories on
Right.
Etsy. Just a little shout out to
okay,
Etsy.
I would
Yeah.
totally do Etsy.
There's
Yeah.
some really cool
Former shop
custom leather, like Breath of the Wild Nintendo Switch cases.
Yeah. And so, like, I think a case is a really good way to kind of like show your personality with
Yeah.
your Switch. If you're going to be hanging out with other gamers that Patrick just pointed to his
You match
gray
it.
case. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I've got just a black case as well, but that's because I'm dead inside. But,
Yeah, yours is very plain.
yeah, it is. Well, but it's also thin. It's like there are multiple kinds of cases you can get.
Right.
We're just kind of segueing here, but it's like for instance, I got this one because it's very thin, but still kind of a hard case. Here's me knocking on mine.
Oh, no, I don't.
But it's
have mine.
like yours is rather large, Patrick. But you could
Yes.
fit like
This
extra
actually-
Joy-Cons. You could fit cartridges.
I can fit the AC adapter in here.
Right. See,
That's what this one is.
Oh, okay.
I wanted something with the least footprint possible so I can just throw it in my bag and not worry about it, not take up a bunch of space.
I wanted one that I could put the AC adapter in.
Right. So yeah, it just kind of like me, for instance, I always have like a battery pack on me that has a USB-C that I can charge my Switch with, right? So I don't really need that.
Which is another accessory you could get, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you're really into, you could get a charger for your Switch.
I mean, I feel like everyone should just have a battery
For their
charger
phone
anyway.
yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's like, yeah, get something that's Type C to Type C because Switch takes USB-C.
Yeah, so something that you can think about if you're shopping for a case is like, what are you going to put in it? So are you going to put your charger in it, or
Extra
extra battery,
Joy-Cons or whatever.
extra games? Like in my case, it holds the cartridges, like a little cartridge holder.
Yeah, it's got like a little flap for them.
Yeah, it is the little flap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun word.
Yeah, flap.
Flap.
Okay. All right, let's move on.
12, 69, 420.
Yeah.
And I don't carry a bag.
Right.
Like you do. So I want a carrying case, maybe like you, Patrick, where I can put all my stuff and carry around, and my Switch case is my bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, me personally, like I buy all my games digitally, right? So I have no need to carry cartridges around, right? And for me, yeah, like I said, like I don't want to throw everything else in there. I just want to open it up and be able to play right away. Cause that's something that I didn't realize before I got my Switch is like how often I would be playing games for only like 45 seconds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I'm at work and I'm waiting for like a video to render or something, and I pull out my Switch just while a little loading bar is going across the screen. I'll play for like 30 seconds and that's it. And then I put it away. You know what I mean? So it's like, time is of the essence.
Little tip too, like I read lots of horror stories of people losing their Switch. Stick your business card or something in your case, so that if you do lose it, hopefully, fingers crossed, somebody actually contacts you.
I put a little label maker. I used a little label maker to put my phone number, and I put it under the kickstand area.
Oh, nice.
On there, so you can't see it. It's not like ugly.
But if somebody was looking around for some way to contact
yeah,
you.
exactly. Like it's pretty easy to find. One last thing on cases before we move on. Tommy Green, who's been on this podcast a couple times, or maybe just once. I think just once. He has like a giant Switch case, and it holds like his dock
and stuff.
Multiple Pro controllers and all this kind of stuff. He loves talking about that thing.
Oh, I think I saw him demonstrating it to you the other night. Yeah.
And I'd already seen it before too. But
there goes Tommy. Just kidding, Tommy.
yeah, what's up, Tommy? We know you're listening.
Muskrat.
Yeah, so it's like, it entirely depends on what you want, but they've got all different kinds. So just kind of know your own preferences as you're going into it.
Yeah, ask yourself, what are your needs?
Right.
Assess your
Yeah,
needs.
don't take any advice from us on this podcast. Just listen to your heart.
Well, one thing I will say too, and I've told this to somebody who got a Switch too, is like, before you go crazy buying all these accessories, give yourself a couple weeks to see how you play your Switch. Because I think some people end up keeping their Switch docked and don't really take it out of their house, and some people end up not docking it very much. So it's like, don't rush out and buy a case if you end up being the kind of person that never takes it out of your house.
Yeah, I just never leave the house without my Switch. Honestly.
You're quite the opposite.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about controllers. I think that's a big one. Both, official, third party, Joy-Con, whatever. Unfortunately, we all know Joy-Cons kind of suffer from drift, so it's kind of hard to recommend buying extra Joy-Cons. Unless you need to for Mario Party or something. But there is one alternative that's a good like third party one, right, David? You use a Joy-Con?
Yeah. Oh, there's a couple. Yeah. Hori makes a couple Joy-Con alternatives. One that I use all the time that replaces my left Joy-Con on my Switch is this Hori D-pad Joy-Con. And
nice.
It comes with some caveats. Basically, the Switch, in order to make it to where both Joy-Cons can act as individual controllers, the left Joy-Con doesn't have a D-pad. It just has buttons to kind of replace an ABXY configuration if you're going to be playing with it on its side. So this Hori Joy-Con that I have only works when it's attached to the system. There's no battery in it. There's no Bluetooth. There's no rumble. There's nothing like that. But I just keep it on my Switch almost 100% of the time because I play a lot of side-scrolling games.
Yeah.
A lot of games where you want to have that kind of control that especially like Tetris 99 and Super Mario Maker are perfect with this thing, right?
How is the joystick on it though?
It's great. It feels a little bit different from the regular joystick, just like the plastic and build quality is slightly different, but the form factor is exactly the same. And it clicks in just the same. I've played Smash with this thing. I've played lots of joystick, dependent games with it. And you also don't notice that it doesn't have rumble because my right Joy-Con still has rumble and it just rumbles the whole system.
Oh, it feels normal?
I mean? Yeah, it just feels normal. Like I still feel the rumble in the left side just because the whole system is kind of vibrating, So I would really recommend that. And then also something that just came out, Hori put out like these Pro Joy-Cons.
Yeah, those like for Daemon X Machina.
Right, yeah.
Hori
They're kind of themed for Daemon X Machina.
Split Pad Pro.
The Split Pad Pro, that's correct.
Split Pad Pro.
They're really hard to find right now. Apparently, like all the pre-orders, like people aren't even getting their pre-orders.
Yeah, I went to try and buy one for this episode, and also to like play it.
Did you go to GameStop or Best Buy?
I looked on their website. Does that count?
No.
I'm looking at
Best
pictures
Buy.
of it. It looks really comfortable.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing for me is like I can only hold the Nintendo Switch for a little while before
That's true.
it,
My
like,
hands kind of
starts-
cramp too.
They start cramping on in my wrists.
Right. And but I mean, those controllers also have caveats. Like it makes your system massive, first of all, right? It's more comfortable to hold, but it's also way bigger, harder to take with you. Also, there's no rumble at all in either of them. There's no Bluetooth. You can only play with it attached to the Switch, although there'd be no reason to use them off of the Switch.
I guess you could have the one thing that people have like commented about that they love about Joy-Cons is having a split controller, like being able. And so I guess that would be if it did work like that, you have the
I guess
the extra space of a Pro Controller split.
Yeah, if you
I've
have
never
bigger
been
hands,
one of those people that really likes like playing split Joy-Cons.
I
It
like
feels
that.
weird to me.
I like lounging. Also, can I just make a quick aside while we're talking about this Hori Split Pad
Please.
Pro? Something I've noticed when watching like YouTube reviewers is that they always like to say like, if you have massive hands like me, which is just like
Oh my
YouTube, like
gosh.
YouTubers saying they have big dicks. Have you ever noticed that?
I feel like lots of people say that when they're talking about this. I guess I just have massive hands.
Yeah.
Puny Switch.
Yeah. It's like their way of saying that they have big dicks. works on like a child-friendly like YouTube channel. Anyway, sorry, that's just something I noticed today. Yeah. So also, it doesn't have any motion, right? So if you're going to be playing Splatoon a lot, and you use motion controls, yeah, the Switch has built-in gyroscope, but it's like, it doesn't. Splatoon uses the right Joy-Con's gyro. You know what I mean? So you're going to be losing a lot of functionality. But
what about like regular controllers? Pro controller. If you're going to end up playing a lot of docked, you probably want to buy a more normal controller rather than playing with Joy-Cons in the grip. Though I guess try that out first. Again, same caveat of like, you never know if you don't have massive hands, you might not mind.
You don't have a big fat dick.
You might not mind playing with the Joy-Cons in a grip, but probably you want to invest in some more normal controller, whether it's the Nintendo Pro controller or the one that you're a big fan of, David, 8-bit Do.
Yeah, the 8-bit Do, 8-bit Do. I think it is Do. But I always say Do.
I think it's Do because of Nintendo, right? But I have a hard time saying it.
I think like they're like a Chinese company and they've come out and said that they're 8-bit Do. But
really?
Yeah, but nobody says
I feel
that.
Vindicated.
It's like, but it's like, it's also like officially GIF and no one says that. But anyway.
That's nonsense.
Yeah, I agree. It's not a graphical interchange format.
Exactly. Whatever. Okay.
Okay. We are just going. The 8-bit Do controllers are fantastic. There's the SN30 Pro and then the SN30 Pro Plus, both of which I would highly recommend.
Over a Pro controller.
I personally think so. I think the only real difference is that the Pro controller has NFC, HD rumble, which the 8-bit Do controllers have rumble, but just not HD rumble. And then also the Pro controller can wake up your Switch, and the 8-bit Do controllers cannot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
8-bit Do controllers, do they have gyro?
Yes, they do. But yeah,
That's pretty big.
Both
If it
of
has
them
that.
do. Yeah. And then also they've like seriously just check out their website. They have tons of really well built hardware that they sell that's also compatible with your computer or your iPad or your Android phone or all this different kind of stuff. So definitely check it out. They've got just like tons of really unique and interesting Switch accessories.
I guess it's worth keeping in mind that the Pro controller, the official one, has a bad D-pad.
Right. That's probably the only really bad thing about it, I think. I mean, you use a Pro controller a lot, right?
Yeah,
Matt?
and it's fine. Yeah,
You don't use the D-pad much.
I don't use the D-pad for
Much
I
of
don't think
anything.
for anything other than like menu selections in the greatest game franchise of all time, Xenoblade Chronicles.
Except for menu selections in town.
And the D-pad, wasn't that a feature on the Switch Lite that's different?
Oh,
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's something that we didn't bring up. Is
Yeah, I saw that in the unboxing vid. That the D-pad is, important to some. So.
Yeah, and it's like a quality D-pad, unlike the one on the Pro controller. So
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
so that's worth thinking about. If those are going to be the kinds of games that you're playing,
Probably,
then that's
yeah.
yeah. It's worth talking about.
And if you're out there and you want to buy Joy-Cons, there's like plenty of colors that you can buy to like express yourself or to like give to friends or family members. So there's a lot of different stuff to like mix and match on your Switch.
Also
too.
on Etsy, there's tons of different, reskinned or
Nice.
reshelled Joy-Cons. Like my sister for Christmas last year got like these two pretty awesome looking Joy-Cons that were kind of custom colors that she got. And so, yeah, that's, if you want to express yourself, yeah, it's a great way to do that.
And you can buy decals for your Joy-Cons to make it
yeah.
look like a SNES controller or GameCube controller.
Oh, sweet.
I think it said GameCube.
A game coupe.
GameCube.
A friend of mine's kid has a purple decal. When I saw his Switch, I was like, "Where'd you get those purple controllers?" Like, "Oh no, it's just they did a good job of
Stickers.
putting them on." Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
gonna
you
look good.
can do that. You can open them up and like put brand new shells in them. I know they have those like atomic purple, like N64 style, like kind of
Yeah.
see-through ones that are really sexy. I'd really like one of those, but we'll see.
Other accessories, David, you've got some stuff on here about GameCube adapter. You want to talk to us about that?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to be playing a lot of Smash, and you're, somebody who played that originally on the GameCube or on the Wii, and you're used to GameCube controllers, definitely something I would recommend is grabbing a GameCube controller adapter and some GameCube controllers. Also, GameCube controllers have analog triggers, which the Switch does not, and all of the official Nintendo triggers are not analog triggers. So it's like, I think Grid Autosport is a racing game that came out recently that actually supports the GameCube controller because of the analog triggers. If you want to like feather the acceleration, that's not something you can do with the normal controller.
There are games that support analog.
Yeah. I think Trials as well was one of those that uses a kind of analog thing. So always nice to have some GameCube controllers around.
If you do play a lot of handheld, there's various grips out there you could get. I've never played with a grip. Have any of y'all played with a grip on your Switch?
Yeah, I have. The Satisfy grip is really great. Like you were talking about how you have hand cramp issues when you play handheld for a long time. The Satisfy grip is a thing that it's pretty wide and you slide the whole system into it. It's just got a better kind of form factor for long play, and you won't be losing gyro aiming and rumble and all these things that you lose with like those new Hori controllers. You know what I mean? Oh. So that's worth checking out if you have massive man hands.
And there's a lot of other companies that make them. What's weird to me about the Satisfy one is it has that weird extra angle on the right side.
It's kind of offset.
Does that help or bother you, or do you have any
I'm not like necessarily a huge fan of it. I think it's like mainly if you're playing a lot of like first person shooter games or games where you're using the right stick a lot
in the right place for the stick.
Because like if you kind of look at like hold the Switch in your hand when you've got your left thumb kind of just rests nicely over the left stick, but because the right stick is lower, if you want to put your thumb on it, you kind of have to grip it like in a kind of a claw way. But the Satisfy grip kind of makes it to where it rests more naturally on that stick. So it's not really something that I like that much because I'm mostly using my right thumb on the buttons. You know what I mean? But it has helped. I mean, when I was like in bed after my surgery a lot, I was playing exclusively in handheld and I use that grip all the time for Smash.
We have on here something about the dock situation. I think that's something to keep in mind, right? That early on there were a lot of people who bought third-party docks that bricked their Switch, that ruined their Switch. So it's kind of generally recommended that you stay away from any dock that isn't officially Nintendo. But that said, my brother-in-law has the Insignia dock, and a lot of people have that, and apparently they don't have problems. But
I'm not risking that.
No,
shit.
yeah, we were somewhere for Thanksgiving, and he's like, "Oh, I brought my dock," and I'm like, "No, thanks." I will keep playing in handheld over here, despite the fact that you have used it forever and it's fine, but it still makes me nervous. Not worth it. There's the flip grip you have on here, David.
Oh, yeah.
I've only watched you play with this.
I love my flip grip. I use it all the time. I mean, I just play a lot of pinball games on my Switch, which work really well in like a vertical orientation. So the flip grip is basically just like a piece of plastic that you put your Switch in sideways. So it makes your Switch kind of go straight up and down as opposed to horizontal. And then you kind of slide the Joy-Cons into the right and left of it. And it's great for games like that. Like shmups like Ikaruga or something like that work really well with a flip grip. Any game where you can change the orientation of the screen to be vertical, that's going to be really nice for. So like old arcade games and stuff like that. Yeah. And it's only like $14. Definitely worth getting. I would recommend that to anyone.
You also used played it with Downwell?
Yeah, Downwell is kind of the killer app for it as well. It's like a $3 game. It should actually Downwell's coming out with a physical edition soon that's bundled with a flip grip.
Damn,
so
that's cool.
I think sorry, go ahead, David or Matt.
You got something? Matthew, dude.
Sorry, Matthew.
It's fine. I was gonna say there's an entire community of like 3D printing models.
Oh.
So I've seen stuff for like wall mounting your Switch or connecting it to like a Gorilla Grip mount, so you can like wrap it around your bed and like just lay in bed and play it.
Oh yeah, I've seen people use like those gooseneck like
right
exactly
like things on their
for ultimate laziness.
Okay.
on their bed, and then you can have split Joy-Cons.
It's like you're in a coffin, but you're playing video games.
Yeah, there are expansions that you can add to the side of your Switch console that makes the grip wider. Ones that you can 3D print for mounts. All sorts of stuff. So if you have to be blazing rich and on a 3D printer, there's plenty of stuff.
There's websites as well that you can have somebody print something out for you. And
if
ship
you're
it to you.
blazing rich.
I'm just kidding. The Pflugerville Library has a 3D printer you can use if you're.
Whoa.
So if you live in Pflugerville.
So I think the next accessory we have on here kind of leads us into the next major discussion here, which is the SD card. The Switch doesn't come with a lot of memory on it. So if you want to download a bunch of games or even a bunch of patches or whatever, like you have to buy an expansion for memory. And I guess that's an argument for going physical potentially, that you don't maybe need an SD card. Like for memory expansion, but you might eventually if you buy enough games, and definitely if you're going to buy digital games, you do. And definitely if you're going to buy big digital games, right?
Right.
Like NBA
2K19 won't even fit on your Switch.
or Wolfenstein
Oh, wow.
2 or a lot of the bigger games, like they're just too big. So I think that, what do you guys think in terms of like a size is I mean, that depends on like, again, how many digital games you're going to get but for what size do y'all have in your Switches? How big are your hands?
Oh gosh.
Well, I have a 512 gigabyte SD card in my Switch,
Massive.
it's very big. It's a massive SD card. It's a micro SD card, but it's very large in space.
Right, these are micro SD
Yeah,
cards,
yeah.
I should say that.
I mean, that's going a little bit overboard. I mean, I own like a bunch of digital games, so it's like, I started with a 124 or 128 gig, and then I moved up to a 400 gig, and then that got full, so I filled up.
Wow.
So now I've got like a 512 gigabyte Switch. But so it's like, that's personally what I need. However, I would say hold off on the SD card. I mean, you can get one right away, but like you might as well wait until your Switch is full, because the price of SD cards like goes down like every month.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, you might as well wait, or like wait until like a Black Friday sale or something like that in order to get like a really cheap, I mean, don't get just the cheapest one on the market, because they'll usually have read and write speeds that are too slow.
And
But
they might get corrupted and that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Get a really
Yeah.
crummy
Yeah.
one.
So stick with like the SanDisk or
Right,
the
Samsung.
or I think I have a PNY. So it's like the kind of more reputable brands. But yeah, I mean, if you know you're gonna be playing a bunch of games, you're gonna need to get one eventually.
What do you have in your Switch, Matthew?
I have a 200 gigabyte. I think it's a SanDisk. I was just looking at it actually.
I've got 128 and I need to upgrade.
Yeah,
I'm at that point.
you got some big fat games.
Yeah, though
I got
I
big
like,
old fatty games.
I delete them once I beat them, but if I'm not going to play them again, but yeah. And I think that leads us into whether you would want to go physical or digital. We sort of live in that weird in between era, but that's where we are. Like a lot of people are switching to just getting digital games. It's a lot more convenient. There's a lot of pros and cons of each. Because you do have to buy an SD card, it can be more expensive, and digital games don't go on sale as often. At least the big first-party Nintendo.
Yeah, the AAA
games.
Nintendo games don't. But
Other games,
everything
do.
else does constantly. Yeah.
Everything else does. So if you're like really just want to play first-party Nintendo games, you can often find physical sales. Though I will say this, like there are also places where you can get discounted eShop cards. Like there's that resale of like gift cards website raise.com that I use a lot. Do y'all ever seen
never
this
heard of
website?
this.
I think
I'm a little
regardless-
sketched out by that website.
Are you?
Yeah.
I've never had a problem. I've been using it for a couple of years.
Okay, well, that's good. Yeah, yeah.
I can see why you'd be sketched out. It's I mean, it's a legit looking website, but like it's weird to buy somebody's gift card because you have that fear of like, well, what if it doesn't work and I just paid a bunch of money?
Right, to some like Russian bot.
But I've never had a code not work.
Right.
And if they have sales on that website, and so sometimes you can get 10 or 15% off.
Yeah.
So it's worth looking into if you are willing to risk raise.com.
Sure.
I back it. I've not had any problems. I've not had any problems with it.
There's also other ways to get cheaper stuff on the eShop. I mean, if this maybe isn't the most moral way to buy games, but like on the say like if you make like a
Regional
Mexican
thing.
eShop account, like a lot of times games will be cheaper on the Mexican store than they are on the US store, and then also the Mexican eShop takes US credit cards or PayPal. So it's like, that's not necessarily the nicest way to do it because you're not supporting the developer as much if you're doing it that way. But a lot of times those games will go on sale anyway for cheaper than you would have bought it in that regional store. So, the Switch doesn't have region locking. So that's something that they've basically allowed for on the Switch. And then also there's the whole idea of game sharing, which is surprisingly easy on the Switch. That's something, a lot of the reason that I have a lot of the games that I do have is because I have multiple people are signed into my Switch and I can download their games. If I play the game as them, I can play those games on my console. And then so I spend that money that I would have spent on those games on a bunch of weird little indie games
other
that no one's ever
games.
heard of. You know what I mean? And so it's like, that's definitely something to keep in mind.
Yeah, and that was one of the arguments previously for going physical, right? Is you can loan people games, but now you can potentially do that digitally too.
Yeah, and it's actually a lot easier to as long as your friend that owns the game is signed into your console, then yeah, it's really easy to play those kinds of games and get lots of different gaming experiences. It's a good way also to like try out a game before you buy it for yourself. You know what I mean? So that's something I would recommend, especially if you're living in a household with multiple Switches. It's like there's no reason to really buy multiple copies of the game.
That's a hot tip.
Yeah, well, whatever. I'm always trying to pinch that penny, baby.
Yeah, and I like to have physical games because I have a weird collector instinct. But one of the arguments for having them is that you could like, and I do loan them to people, but you could like sell them. But I never sell a game, even if
Yeah.
I don't like it. I just
Well, you're a
can't.
collector.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
"Well, but the box will be there, and it makes my collection look massive.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, I bought the last console that I bought physical games for was the Wii U. And I just remember being on my couch and like getting up to like change discs like one too many times. And I was like, I'm done doing this.
Total first world problem, but
Yeah.
once you do it, it's like any technology. Once you get used to just, I can just switch to this other game.
Well, that's why I keep buying like big SD cards, is because it's like, and I said I take my Switch everywhere with me. So I just have like all my games with me at all times.
Who
if
can
I
be
ever want to play them.
bothered to stand up and put a new game into your Switch?
I
right?
need Ring Fit Adventure.
That first March, Jesus. When this Nintendo Switch came out, I bought all physical copies, and I was on a plane, and I had that little flip, and the cartridge fell on the floor of the airplane, and I couldn't find it for like 5 minutes, and I found
Panic.
it.
Started
And I was like,
panicking.
never again. I'm
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
digital.
yeah.
I never want to feel like I lost my child again.
Well, I think that's an argument too, right? Like if you lose your Switch, and if you put a bunch of games in the case and you lose it, you've lost
Yeah, you're shit out of luck.
yeah.
extra money. You've lost
Right.
not just the Switch, but like all those. But if you bought a new Switch, your account could re-download any digital game.
Yeah, they're tiny little cartridges.
And also,
true, they are small.
But I will say a plus for owning cartridges is you can lick them.
How do they taste?
They taste really weird, kind of metallic. And
Have
a
you
little
actually
chemically.
done it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've got a cartridge in my Switch right now. I'm gonna lick
Oh,
it right here on the air.
Don't do it.
We're going to do a live taste test.
I only have one cartridge and it's Labo. And I'm gonna
Because
lick it
they
right
are so
now.
small, they put like a bitterant on them so that kids won't eat them.
Ugh. It really is bitter. It really is bitter.
Like a bitter, like coffee?
He's doing it again.
He just licked it 6 times.
I'm just trying to think. I'm just trying to like explain the taste of Switch cartridges. It's kind of like
What's the region?
it's like very like Eurasian. I don't know. But anyway, so that's something interesting if you're into that sort of thing. Look up videos of people licking cartridges. Pretty much everybody does. It's
And it's you.
I think we're kind of coming to a close. I guess the other thing you have to consider is that Switch Online now costs $20 a year, but it seems now with Super Nintendo games, it's worth the value.
I don't know. I'm on a family plan.
And then
for
there's
a whole,
family plans,
for a whole
right?
year of Nintendo Switch Online, split between 8 people. Each person was paying $4.20. Blaze it. But it's like just nothing. It's like $4.20 for like 20 Super Nintendo games and 40 NES games
I'm
and
paying
Tetris 99 and being able to
Yeah.
play online. It's nothing.
I'm paying
Yeah.
$20 and I don't mind at all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Everybody else's online is like $60 a year. So
yeah, it
$20
doesn't
a year is
seem
nothing.
bad. I mean, it'd be great if they had more like party system.
I've
and all
never
that, but-
understood why people complain about the price of
I know,
Nintendo
it's so
Switch
cheap.
Online. Yeah.
I guess because anything that's free for some period of time and then you start charging for it, people are going to feel ripped off.
Yeah.
That's why I think because they went like not. If they had done it at launch, people would have griped a little bit, but because they waited like 6 months or whatever, or a year.
It was like a year
and a half.
Yeah.
Because it happened September
Right.
2018. Anyway, any final thoughts on recommendations or questions or anything about the topic?
Yeah. Do you
Good
feel
accessories?
well informed now to go out and purchase a Switch?
Yes, I am. I mean, I do like with just the regular Switch that you can customize it. I mean, I guess I could put decals on the Switch Lite, but I am an artist, so I do like to express myself. And so I do like that customization, but I don't know. I'm starting to think about Switch Lite.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
Also,
really nice.
I might be like waiting in standby lines during volunteering for the festival, so maybe I'll just get it this Friday. So I can just solve that. I could, bring a book or something too. But
No, books are for nerds, and everyone knows
oh
that.
my gosh,
Video games are not for nerds; they're for cool people.
yeah. So I do feel more informed. It was good to learn about the accessories as well. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
Once I get one, I'll post it to the Switch Headz Facebook group.
That's awesome.
I'll be
That's
curious to hear.
So
That's a
get
good-ass
ready.
plug. One last little thing before we move on. Something that you had on here, Patrick. That's if you are going to be going digital, and you are a Reddit user, definitely check out the subreddit. It's r/Nintendo Switch Deals. I check that compulsively, like every day. That's part of the reason why I own so many
I
games.
kind of stopped going there too often because of then it's like, well, this game I could save $5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
on
like
another game.
That's the fallacy of a sale, right?
Right,
It's
right,
like, oh
exactly.
yeah. I'm getting this for a discount, but I would have never bought it anyway.
But that said, it like they do have other companies sometimes have discounted eShop cards and stuff. You
Yeah,
can find
yeah.
that information there.
It's really worth checking out. It's like I've gotten so many gems for like under $1 because I'm subscribed to that subreddit, and I really recommend checking that out.
That's true.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think
that moves us on to our final segment of the episode.
I just wonder, before we move on,
I'm sorry. I'm going to edit in the song starting and then a record scratch sound. Yeah. Go for
you
it.
can use my sound effects if you want. I just wonder, I have a 200 gigabyte SD card. I just wonder how many copies I can download of Little Town Hero.
do you think they let you download more than one?
They sure don't.
Challenge accepted. Why don't you believe in me?
I mean, I guess you could like make a bunch of different accounts in different regions and download the game in all these different regions.
It's true.
Actually, no, you can't do that. I've tried to do that.
You can't buy a game twice in a different region?
No, it shows if it's your primary console, it shows that it's already on the Switch.
that console.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
see.
yeah.
It's console specific.
Yeah. So,
Sorry, Matt.
sorry, I know you were doing a bit, Matt.
But we took it to the extreme.
All right, well, that
Thanks
brings
for
us
letting me have fun.
That brings us to our next segment.
Yeah, so let's talk about what we've been playing. Does anybody really want to start?
I've been playing Astral Chain.
Very good.
I'm on file 8 now.
Oh, good.
Do you know how many files there are?
I think there are 10.
Okay.
I'm not sure. In file 8, this whole file, there's a bunch of mini games, which is very strange. There's some action stuff, but there were a mini game that really stands out. Do you ever play those old Shockwave Flash games where you have cars in a grid and you have to park the cars in a certain way and move stuff around?
Yeah.
There's that game.
It's really
in
interesting.
Astral Chain.
Because there's like a game within a game, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about?
There's that game, the car park game. I don't know what you call it.
Yeah.
And then another one that is a game within the side of a game where you play as Lappy, and you hand out balloons to police officers.
That's right. Yeah, it's like old 16-bit style.
Yeah,
or
it's
whatever.
really fun.
Yeah. That's interesting.
I'm done.
How about you next, Patrick?
Yeah, so I got a couple things for y'all. I beat Fire Emblem this past weekend. So
Congratulations.
that was cool. I will take a little break before I come back to that game because I will come back to it. But I also, my kid and I were going to play some video games this past weekend. And he's like, let's play some Mario Odyssey. He loves Mario Odyssey. Every once in a while, we plug it in every few months. I put it in. I had this a physical cartridge, so I put it into the Switch, and I'm like, wait, what? What is this save file? And 2 months ago, my wife's cousin came and stayed with us, and I let him play on my Switch, and he saved over my Mario Odyssey file.
No.
So
That's a thing in the modern era?
So unfortunately, this is a thing in several first-party Nintendo games: Mario Odyssey, Captain Toad, Pokemon Let's Go. They only have one save file,
Right.
and it's a default save file. There's no
And that's based
there's
on
no
the
huge
profile?
warnings.
You should have
or
made that
anything.
motherfucker his own profile.
Okay, Hindsight 2020. I
Also, sorry to call him a motherfucker. I don't know.
Oh,
He's probably a nice
It's not
guy.
his fault. It's
Yeah.
my fault. He's like, one day I was headed to work and I had my Switch with me because I always play on my lunch break. He's like, hey, can I play a Switch? He's just going to stay at our house that day. I was like, yeah, sure. He had previously been mostly playing Tetris 99, which I don't care. He played that on my account. No big deal. Right.
Yeah.
And I didn't think he even mentioned that he played Odyssey. I didn't even think about it. But man, I was a little bit disappointed because I didn't have all 880 moons or whatever, but I had about 750.
Jesus fucking Christ.
And I every once in a while we'd fire it up and I'll chip away, get another moon or something.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I was stared. I seriously sat there and stared at it and was like, and my son's like, "What's wrong?" You know, and I'm just like. But here's the positive. He and I
get to play the game again
He
now.
and I are now playing through it again.
Okay,
I
that's
don't think I'm going to even go for a lot of those hard to get moons because some of those are fucking hard, man.
Yeah,
like the boss rush stuff and the like
the darker side
yeah,
stuff.
Man.
Are you playing the multiplayer?
No.
Okay.
We just trade off. He's not that great and the multiplayer sucks.
Yeah, I don't really like it.
So I've been playing that, and then I'm going long. And then since I beat Fire Emblem, I was like, I'm gonna play a short game on my backlog that I bought on a sale but never played, which is the Red String Club.
Oh, yeah. How is that game?
It's interesting.
Yeah.
I just started it today, so I've only played for like 30 or 45 minutes.
Is it a Devolver game?
It's Devolver published it. Yeah. So when they had a Devolver digital sale, I bought it. It's really interesting. It's weird. So if you don't know what it is, it's like a pixel art, cyberpunk narrative, kind of point and clicky game, but it has really weird mechanics and it's like, this is going to sound weird, but this is what it is. It's like you're like doing clay sculpt. What's that called? When you have a pottery, like you have a pottery wheel.
Clay fighter.
Ghost. Patrick Swayze.
So
2 words.
Pottery.
So like there's this the Red Strings Club is like a bar in this sort of cyberpunk futuristic place, and you mix drinks for people, and that's one mechanic is you mix a drink to try and target something about them. It's really weird. And trying to explain this game is fucking hard. And then there's this other mechanic where you do this pottery to like build these cyber implants to put on people. And it's kind of tedious. The pottery stuff, I don't think I like it. So I'm not sure how if that's going to be a major part of the gameplay. I'm not sure how I feel about it. But I like the sort of aesthetic of the game and the story part and that kind of stuff is going okay. But I don't want to do much more of this pottery. We'll see.
Whoopi Goldberg.
It's supposed to be a pretty short game, so we'll see. That's been me. I talked for a long time. Sorry.
Cool. Yeah. I'll go next, and then we'll have you close it out, huh?
Sure.
I've been playing a couple games, some Fire Emblem, which we might touch on here in just a second, maybe. I don't know. And then I will say, last night I finally got Felix to join our house.
Oh yeah! Congratulations.
So that was something.
Did he volunteer?
No, I gave him a gift, like you told me to
Owl
give him.
feather.
And then he decided to join.
I gave him an owl feather, and then I asked him again. He was like, "Hell
okay.
yeah."
Wait, is this a Fire Emblem thing?
Yeah. And then I've been playing a little bit of the Spyro trilogy. I've been playing my friend Emily's copy of Spyro
Spyro.
trilogy. Spyro de Dragón. Excuse me, Spyro. I've never played those games before, and I don't really like it. But I mean, maybe I'll come around to it.
Hey, you didn't buy it.
I didn't buy it. Yeah, it's very simple and not fun. But maybe if I had played it when I was a child, I would like it.
Was you playing the first one, or did you try?
I just tried the first one, and it's like the very beginning of the game, so maybe it gets harder. But I don't know. Whatever. We'll see. I'll probably keep playing it, but maybe not. But then the main game I've been playing for the past week. And this is the must-have September game for the Switch. It is Star Wars Pinball by Zen. Zen makes the Pinball FX series, of which I'm a huge fan. I've been playing the Pinball FX 3 for a while. I spent way too much money on pinball tables in Pinball FX 3. This is a game that I first heard about during Star Wars Celebration this year. It was like announced at the kind of Star Wars con that happens every year. It's something that I still watch like a fanboy whenever they do streams of that. And I got so excited. So I've been looking forward to this since like April. And it's just fucking fantastic.
What makes it good?
It has 19 tables. which is just so many. Like there's a ton of pinball tables, and each one of them is totally fleshed out with like their own little mini games and their own kind of storylines, and they're all based on either films from the franchise or like characters, or there's even like a Masters of the Force table, which is like a balance between the dark side and the light side, and it's got like Yoda and Dooku on it and all this kind of stuff. So if you're a big Star Wars nerd like me, like, and you like pinball, this is a must have. Like, it's $30, which seems a little steep for a pinball game, but really, like, if you're going to be playing this game on the regular, like, it's a ton of content, and I think you would really enjoy it.
David, did you get mad at me when I angry liked your
Yeah, I
post?
really did. Yeah. I swore at my computer. I said, fuck you. But that's
I was hoping just to get a rise out of you.
Yeah, you did a good job. And that's mostly what I've been playing. What about you, Sasha? What have you been playing?
Yeah, so this past weekend, Tommy had some people at his place, and to play Switch games, of course, we mainly played Mario Kart, and I feel pretty great. You know, again, not being a Switch owner, I got third place. It was mainly like you and Tommy kind of doing, you know, first and second, but I was placing third. I beat Jeff. I don't even know if that was you named Roscoe, but I think it was.
I think it was.
And I defeated you, and I heard you cursing across the living room.
Hell
so
yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
fuck you, Jeff. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing.
The title for this
Roscoe.
episode is "Fuck You, Jeff."
Oh, no.
Fuck you,
Oh
Jeff,
my
and new Switch owners.
So yeah, that was, and of course, I mean, yeah, that was my main thing, I guess, playing Mario Kart and not doing too terrible.
Yeah, you've been
And,
getting pretty good at Mario Kart, honestly. Yeah,
Thank you.
you're
Yeah. Honestly, accelerate when you can. So that's what I learned this past weekend. If you can accelerate, do it at all times. And also just wanted to thank you, Patrick, for letting us play Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
Because
I love talking about it.
yeah, because sometimes it's great. I just love that there's all these details and research you can go into. Like Dorothea, I keep telling David, she wants to wield a weapon, not only magic.
That's true. That's true. She's like a C+ in swords.
Yeah.
That's a tough one, specifically.
But it's nice to have people with magic. I just love how, you know, detail oriented it can be, and so thanks for that. And
Man. Now I know how you guys feel when I talk about Xenoblade. Sorry for interrupting you.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, yeah. Sometimes, David did great. Okay, so we're way far behind, I guess, compared to everyone else.
We're like 35 hours in.
But like the battle of the eagle and the lion, like he
Right.
did great, because usually setting up the battlefield, I'm just like, nope.
Thank you.
No.
Because I've been singing your praises on this podcast as you are the better Fire Emblem player.
Yeah.
But I did do a good job on the battle of the Eagle and the Lion. Thank you.
That was a great job. Normally, I'm just like, oh God, why? No, I'm just playing. You're wonderful at the game.
Well, thank you. As are you. I trust you on teaching our kids a lot more than not our children. We don't have kids.
Fire Emblem kids.
Yeah. I think you're a little bit. I think you're definitely better in instructing than I am. But I will say this: it's only made our relationship stronger.
I really want to respond to so much of this, but I'll try to keep it short.
I know.
Dorothea, yeah, I changed her at the very end to also wield a sword, but I kind of regret it because she was better in my mind, but she does want to do it, so you're probably right. And then I looked it up after we talked last time, and you are almost exactly a third of the way through.
God damn.
The battle,
We
of the,
have
Eagle,
so much
the
more of
battle
this
of the
game.
Eagle and the Lion is about a third way through. So
Right.
Yeah,
I was correct when I said that.
Man,
I
I want to
instantly
play
panicked.
tonight, but I have to edit this podcast.
I guess I'll play.
Yeah. You should play while I edit.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what we've been playing.
Don't worry, Matt, too. Also, I'm coming for you. I'm picking up Xenoblade Chronicles 2 real soon. I actually already own it, but I'm picking it back up now that I finished my other long JRPG.
I think I have a physical copy of it.
I have one, too.
Oh, okay.
I'm good. I started a long time ago. I just fell off of it at some point. Only 5 or so hours in.
Oh, I can't wait to
We'll
talk
talk
to
more
you
about
about the complex relationship between Rex and Pyra.
I would be interested to talk about that, because I've only seen the beginning parts of that.
Oh my God. We should talk for another half hour on this podcast.
before we end, happy Link's Awakening weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys
so-
gonna be playing that this weekend?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Do you guys want me to buy that copy and you guys can play my copy?
Sure.
I feel like I owe you guys a copy after
Whatever.
playing Matt's copy of Astral Chain and your copy of Fire Emblem.
I'm excited most to have, while I'm playing it on the TV, have my girlfriend walk by and be like, "Oh, that's cute."
Yeah.
It looks very cute.
As opposed to Xenoblade. where-
Yeah, it's like, damn, boobs everywhere.
Yeah, there's lots of boobs. There's, you know what? There aren't very many of Link's Awakening boobs.
No, that's true.
So,
All right, on that.
Okay.
Thanks to Corduroy for doing the music. Thanks to you for listening.
thank you to Sasha for
Thanks
being
to
our guest
Sasha.
this
Thank
episode.
you so much for having me.
Oh, yeah. Did you have a good time?
I had a great time. I was very nervous. I was like, I do not know enough. But yeah, I had a wonderful time.
That's
so
good.
thank you.
I'm glad to hear it.
Yes.
Yeah. Now you know what it looks like on the inside here
I
at
do.
Abbey Road Studios.
Yeah, where you lick cartridges.
I kind of forgot I did that just
Yeah.
like moments ago.
Next week we'll talk about Link's Awakening.
Yeah, that's the
Awesome.
plan. I guess if you want to find us online, you can find me at Monolith Fiji.
You can find me on Twitter, Matthew MATHYOU.
I'm PDYX.
And what about you, Sasha?
Snick Knight, also sasha-knight.com.
That's right. Sasha is an incredible artist.
Got a website.
If you are interested in purchasing any of her art, please go to her website.
Yeah.
She's got a whole bunch of art at home she just needs to get rid of.
Okay. It's really, yes, it's true. Okay.
What was the website again?
Sasha-Knight.com. I can't do SashaKnight.com because a paranormal romance author took that domain, so I had to throw in the dash.
And that's
yeah.
night like an old night, not like nighttime.
Like an old night?
Like an old
old
like an old
that
British
that
night.
really clarifies.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
like with a K.
A
Night
Jedi
with a K.
Knight. A
Yeah,
Jedi
yeah,
Knight.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a better description.
Like an old ass night. Well, folks, that just about does it for this episode. Thank you so much for listening. If you made it this far in the episode, you get a free copy of What Remains of Edith Finch, courtesy of Matthew.
I'll spend $20 again for you.
Yeah. You want to buy me a copy of What Remains of Edith Finch?
No.
Okay. Folks, thank you so much for listening. Please, like Sasha mentioned earlier, join our Facebook group. That's Switch Headz, all caps, with a Z at the end on Facebook. You can check us out on Instagram at Super Switch Headz. You can check us out on Twitter at Switch Headz. Can't wait to talk Zelda with you guys next week. If you enjoyed this episode, leave us a comment or a like, and be sure to rate us on iTunes. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it. We love you very much. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.